Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jefé Sports Podcast. I hope you're having a fantastic day. With the football season officially over, it's time for basketball to take over the sports world. And what better time? The NBA All-Star Game is coming up Sunday, February 14th. March Madness will be here before we know it. And really, what better person to sit here and talk basketball with me than my special guest today, the lead college basketball analyst for CBS Sports, Mr. Clark, Special K Kellogg. Clark, how you doing?
Good. I'm good, Jeff. Appreciate that introduction. And you're right. It's always at least fun for me to talk hoops. I can talk it year round, but certainly when we get into February, that's when the temperature starts to turn up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait. It's going to be special. And Clark, I mean, what can we say about the season for those who have not really been watching basketball? It's been a pretty eventful season so far in both the NBA and college, but let's start with college first. So, I mean, I don't really know a better place to start than with the Big Ten, probably the best conference in the nation. I mean, we got 6 teams in the top 25. It's tied for the most in the country. We got Michigan, that team up north, sitting up at number 4, Ohio State at number 7, Iowa at number 8, Illinois at number 12, Wisconsin at 19, and Purdue at 24. Clark, this is special, right? I mean, I'm not just saying this, right? This is special.
No, I think it's the deepest and best conference in the country. Clearly, you could make a case for the Big 12, particularly in the middle and at the top. But the Big 10 has potentially a double-digit number of teams that could possibly be in the field of 68. You mentioned the ranked teams, but Rutgers was ranked earlier this season. Minnesota has had some significant wins and some puzzling losses as well. Indiana is right in the mix. Northwestern has improved. Nebraska is still in rebuild mode in the second year under Fred Hoiberg. So clearly, top to bottom, I think the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. And the teams that are ranked have been playing some pretty good basketball all season long, particularly the Buckeyes, another road win against Iowa last night. Iowa is probably the best offensive team in the country outside of Baylor and Gonzaga. And you think about Wisconsin, rock solid, extremely experienced. And most of these teams that are faring well in the Big Ten and across the country, Jeff, are pretty much upperclassmen-laden teams. There aren't many teams that have youthful rosters that are navigating this season particularly well for a lot of reasons. Obviously, COVID has created some roadblocks and disruptions in our lives and during the season. But experienced teams that have been together are tending to rise to the top of the list so far.
Yeah. And that's evident. I mean, like you're saying, all the blue bloods that we usually see with these one and dones like Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. This is the first time since 1961 that they're not even in the top 25. Right. And so you got to have a mature team to be in it and deal with all this COVID protocols and stuff. But Clark, the Big Ten has most likely the best conference, but they also have the best player. I mean, Luka Garza. Yeah. What an unbelievable talent he is, Clark. What in his game makes him so special?
Yeah, you've watched those of us who follow college basketball have watched his development, and he's gotten progressively better. He was runner-up in most Player of the Year tallies last season, won a couple of the awards. There are multiple Player of the Year awards out there. Obi Toppin from Dayton got most of them, but I think Luka may have won 1 or 2 of those Player of the Year awards. So he came in as the prohibitive favorite to be Player of the Year this year, and he's done nothing to dissuade that or dismiss that. He's clearly, in my mind, by a pretty good gap, the Player of the Year, leads the nation in scoring. But what stands out for me about him is his relentlessness. He's not a guy who is uber athletic. He actually kind of labors and lumbers when you watch his running gait. But he's strong, he's got a nice touch, and he typically is going to outwork his opponent. And that, to me, is really his signature attribute, his relentlessness on the floor. And then he's versatile. I mean, he can step out and make the three, and he obviously is big and strong and knows how to work inside. But he's a relentless big guy with touch and some inside outside skill. And that has him clearly at the top of the player of the year running.
Yeah, I agree. What I really like about him is he's fearless. Like you can
Yeah.
tell on the floor that he is the best player and he's not really afraid to be vocal about it. He's not afraid to be physical, like bang in the post. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of just throwing it back to my old days. It reminds me a little bit of when I was playing. Like I tried to be that type of guy, but to see him do this and like take over the sport of college basketball, which is a shooter sport, and like you said, he's developed a jump shot. Like he's
Yeah.
a really special talent. Do you think he's gonna translate well in the NBA?
That's a question. I think it's 50-50, Jeff, because at the next level, his relentlessness will serve him. He's not really a volume rebounder, and
Mhm.
he's not an out of area rebounder. So he has to be, again, because of his lack of agility and bounce, that's gonna be a challenge for him. You try to find guys that he reminds you of at the NBA level, and the only guy I can kind of think of is Nikola Jokic from
Mm,
Denver in terms of not being super athletic, having a game that's really close to the ground. He's not near the passer that Jokic is. Um, I think his shot is comparable. He's not nearly as skilled in the low post. So I think it's 50-50 with Luka as far as being an NBA player. The attributes you talk about, though, fearlessness, and I mentioned his relentlessness, his work ethic. Um, there might be a spot for him in the right situation, but the speed of the game at the NBA level would give me just a touch of pause. But I'd give him a hard look because of those other attributes that he possesses.
yeah, I agree. In this, the speed once you get up to that level is, whoo, you got to catch up.
It's unlike
Man.
anything I mean, the games are so dramatically different. And for those who only watch it from a distance, you can't realize how good the NBA guys are. You have to see that up close for a couple of weeks to recognize the jump that it is. It's much like high school to college. That's a big jump. That's a
Right.
big jump, but it's a bigger one from college to the pros because of the speed and the skill level. The NBA guys make tough shots routinely. They
Right.
don't occasionally make tough shots. They make hard shots routinely. And the speed and strength and the volume of possessions with the 24-second shot clock, the variety of coverages of pick and rolls. I mean, it's another level. I mean, high school is a college degree. College is a master's, and the NBA is a PhD or a doctorate.
Hmm. I've never heard
That
about it like that. I like that
yeah,
though. That's a good.
that's
That's a
a
good
that's a
comparison.
way to that's a one way to analyze it when you talk about the gap and the jumps between levels.
Yeah. Wow. I never thought about it like that, but that's insightful. I like that. See, this is why they pay you the big bucks to come up with analysis like that, man. That's
Hey man,
crazy.
I try to keep it real. I try to keep it on the ground where everybody can grab hold of it. Not everybody knows basketball the way those of us who have played it at the highest levels and have watched coaches do it at the highest level. There's a certain level of education and expertise and knowledge you have, and you try to help people who may not be in that same space get a feel of that level of detail when I'm commentating. So keep it simple, but try to go deep in a simple way.
What's up, Jefes? Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jefe's World, for more videos like this one and the full interviews. Jefe Sports, baby. Let's go.